Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Rogers Finance. My name is Andrew. Today I'm going to be going over my net worth. I'm really excited to be going over this, my net worth for 2020. However, if you are a family or friend, quick disclaimer, I'm going to be going over all my assets, everything I have. So if that makes you uncomfortable in any way, or even if you're a stranger, feel free to click off right now. I will be getting into it, so fair warning. Number two, I just want to say as well, I do live at home. I only pay $300 in rent, which is a fair bit cheaper than having my own place or even renting a room. I do plan on moving out in the next few months, and that will be upping my rent basically to another $200, so I'll be paying $500. I also, second advantage in life, I guess, is that my parents paid for my college education. I don't currently use my degree, but I think that's worth pointing out at least because a lot of people have college debt, which obviously weighs heavy on your finances. So those are two advantages I do have. So just to clear the air and put that right out in front of you. But we'll hop right into it. And if you guys have any comments on it, please leave them down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in a second. Another thing worth noting, but just before we begin, I'm 25 years old. So if age is a factor, and all the money that I'm going to be going over, I made myself. It was not given to me. And it's basically been made since I've started working. So number one, we'll step into my individual brokerage account. So this is separate from my Roth IRA or 401k. This is a combination of my brokerage accounts. And that's currently at about $17,587 is my total in those brokerage accounts. So that includes my dividend stocks that I usually go over on this channel, as well as growth stocks and automated investing, all lumped into that amount. And that has all been made this year. And that's a combination of both the contributions and return. I think the total return as of today is about $3,500. Just to be blunt and honest about that, that is largely due to just a great market this year, off that big downswing. I just happened to get in at a good time, so I'm bearing the fruits of that essentially. Next up, we have my emergency fund. I was in a high yield CD in Marcus by Goldman Sachs, and that was earning about 1.6%, and at one time, I think 2.4%. Now that CD is offering 0.5%, which is just far too low. Normally, you do want to keep an emergency fund as liquid as possible, and I do recognize this. However, I do want to combat inflation. I don't want that to just go down as I age. Basically, what I'm going to do now, and that's actually starting this week, I'm splitting it up. 30% will be in liquid cash, and 70% of that will be in VOO, V-O-O. It's basically an index fund by Vanguard, which tracks the S&P 500. And right now that's totaled at $5,100. All right, next I want to talk about my retirement accounts. So split between one Roth IRA and two 401ks, I have $19,698. So basically that's split in between those two groups. I have $15,342 in a Roth IRA and $4,356 in two 401ks. What I want to point out about this, and if you haven't started investing in retirement, I would really suggest you do so as early as possible. If I could go back in time, I would start investing in a Roth IRA much earlier at an age, because the more time you have in the market, the better off you're going to be in terms of your retirement account. Your Roth IRA is not going to be taxed once you reach retirement age. It's a really good idea to start putting money in now because it will start to grow over time. Now, if you do have a job currently that does do 401k matching, I would highly suggest first that you take that match because it's free money. My job, for instance, does a 6% match. So you want to take, for instance, that 6% match, and then anything after that, don't put into the 401k. You're going to put into a Roth IRA, max that out. If you have money after that, then put it into the 401k. And if you have even more money after that, then put it into a brokerage account. You want to prioritize it like that because you're basically getting the best bang for your buck that way in terms of taxes and benefits from your company. Next up, in terms of assets, we have my car. Some in the financial community do not consider a car an asset. I do. Take it upon yourself if you want to include this in my net worth. I do because it's paid off. I initially had a loan on it, but I decided just to pay it off early, aggressively paid it off. And in my opinion, that was a good idea. I don't, particularly like the idea of having a lot of debt. Currently, I have no debt. That was my only form of debt at the time. A lot of people in the financial community, especially personality types like Dave Ramsey, Graham Stephan, are really against the idea of a new car, and I totally understand that, and I think for the most part they're correct on it. However, I did have a used car before, and I had so many issues with it, constantly breaking down and needing maintenance. I just didn't want to deal with the headache of it, especially living in a cold area like I do. Having a dependable car is really important because there's really no other way to get around in the winter. There's also no public transportation really. I do consider an asset. It's a 2019 Kia Soul. It has about 20-something thousand miles on it. And I looked it up, it's about $11,000, but who knows what I'd actually get for it. And I am happy to having get that. It's very reliable, and I will use it basically until it grinds into dust. My next asset that I have is my general savings. Now this is in both a very stable bonds as well as a high yield savings account, although I'm pretty certain it's losing to inflation a little bit, but I'm okay with that. On this one particularly, this is basically my general savings. I'm hoping to put it towards a house at some point. Houses just keep getting more expensive, so I don't know if that's ever going to be a reality. We'll see. I'm hoping to move to a lower cost of living area where hopefully I can find some affordable housing, something in like the low 100,000s range. But housing is very difficult to find that's affordable these days, so we'll see. Although you can take advantage of things like an FHA loan, and I probably certainly will do that. It's still a very expensive endeavor. You know, if I'm able to do it before I turn 30, I think that's a good goal point. We'll see though. It's very difficult. So that's basically where that money is going towards. I haven't really added on to that in a long time. My priority right now is just growing my dividend income. So I haven't really poured any money into that, but that's where it currently sits. Next up, we have our crypto. I do have a little bit of money in crypto spread between Ethereum and Bitcoin. It's about $3,100 worth right now. I got in at a pretty early time. I do sell off little chunks every now and then, but generally I'm just probably gonna hold on and not add anything to it. I generally do prefer money into the stock market at this point, but it's nice to have a little thing there in case it does end up becoming more than what it is. It's basically a side thing. So all said and done with everything combined, it totals out to about $65,085. Now there are still a few weeks left in the year, so this could change dramatically up or down, probably not. That's roughly what it's going to be, 65K, which I think is a pretty cool net worth to have at 25. Some people are certainly way far ahead of me at this age. Some people are way far behind. It's totally okay wherever you're at. If you are in the negatives, it's totally understandable. People have student loan debt. A lot of people are taking care of their parents or siblings, have children, whatever it may be. You're not worth any more or less because of what you have, of course, but I think there's a lot we can learn from each other when we go over our finances and see how we can better manage them. That being said, if by the end of 2021 I can reach 100K net worth, which I think is possible, although it depends on the market, that'd be pretty cool to me to have a six-figure net worth before I hit 30. I think it's possible. We'll see what happens. But guys, yeah, I hope you did enjoy and hope you learned maybe a little something. And if you do have any suggestions on how I can improve my finances, please let me know down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it greatly. Hit the subscribe button and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.